Hello. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, APU. Good afternoon, GGW. Thank you so much for having me here. I think it's funny because I actually got a request to give a talk here, and in fact, it's actually one of the most requested things to talk about, which is to how to start a game company. So a lot of students sometimes they ask me this one, and I sort of like shrug and I was like, I think that's a little bit ahead. So I recommend to sort of step back a little bit and sort of reframe the question in a way that is maybe a little bit more applicable to more people, maybe to students, maybe more like smaller indie teams and things like that. So instead, I recontextualized the talk to comp of a good game design, comp of a good game dev team. All right? Okay. All right. So who am I? I'm the lead game designer for Kaigan Games since 2016. So these are some of the games that we've made, mostly known for the found phone horror games, Simulacra, as well as the one Doctor Who below. So what do I know about teams, right? Because if I'm going to give you the talk about teams, what do I know? I worked with a lot of creative teams over the past 15 years. And I worked with a lot of different game dev teams over my career in Kaigan Games and also other places. But some of you might not know, I actually have a background in theater. And I've worked with different creative teams in theater as well. And this is like over the course of 10 years or so. And one of the things that I sort of unknowingly realized is that sometimes they do overlap. The teams that I worked with long time ago are still around. They still want to work. They still want to still want to do projects together. And some of the plays I've done before actually came back and worked on other parts of the game that I'm working on. Like for example, there was a play I did called 15. The composer for that play also did the composition for the Simulacra 2 soundtrack. So it's the same composer. This is a device play called Remedy. This is a sort of like a mental health related play that I've done. One of the actress who is in this play is also the same actress as Simulacra 3. And that arrow I point there, the small little picture there, this is a play that I worked on in 2010, all the way back 15 years ago. He ended up being a video director for Simulacra 1. So I have worked with a lot of these people. Our latest game called Deadly Rehearsal, which also involves theater elements, I got the same theater director who I collaborated many over times to help build and to put up this mock play that's in the game. And it ended up being the motion capture reference for our animation team. Okay, so I've seen what makes a good team, but I've also seen what does not make a good team. Because out of all the projects I've worked on, not everything is good. There's some good, there's some bad, there's some just kind of okay. So over the years, I've sort of like kind of picked up what is a good team, what makes a good team, right? And in the context of game dev, sometimes you really think about team as like your composition, right? Your composition, you need like what? Designers, you need programmers, you need artists, you need producers, you need QA. And if your team is like a little bit bigger, you might even consider like music, marketing, writer, publisher, animator, and so on and so forth. But again, every project is different, and you might not need all of these team members at any one time. So I want to give like a more principled approach to making a good team, okay? Rather than compositional. So like instead of looking for like those kind of roles, just take a step back and sort of look like principles of what makes a good team. So I'm going to give you some guiding principles of a good creative team, and I got 4 right now. Now you might not get 100% because this is quite difficult, because this is a little bit fluid. It's a little bit like based on case by case basis, and it will depend on the people that you get. But the more you can hit 100%, the better. But always aim for as high as possible. All right? Okay. So number 1, work with people, not roles. What do you mean by that? To form a team, what do you normally do? You do interviews, right? You go for interviews to join a team, and you do interviews for a team. Let's say you want to hire a programmer. Okay, what's the first thing you think about? You want to look at their work, right? You want to look at their portfolio. Maybe they've shipped a few games. Maybe they have some leadership skills. Maybe they have good references. But you want to remember that the programmer that you hire is also a human being. Okay? His name is Jimbo, maybe. Maybe this guy's name is Jimbo. He has hobbies. He plays music. He has hopes and dreams. Maybe he collects, trading card games. I don't know. But it's a person, right? You're not hiring a programmer to do your programming job, but you're also hiring a person to join your team, to be part of your team. And keep this in mind when forming your team, right? Because people with like-minded interests and common shared goals, they click a lot, all right? And sometimes they click more than others, and sometimes they will change during your project lifecycle. Sometimes some of the team members might not be very fond of each other at first, but maybe they grew fond over time. Sometimes, somebody might say something annoying, and then they'll be like, I don't want to talk to you for a while. And this happens, okay? It goes on and on. That's why you have to consider the person that you hire as well, right? And if everyone keeps clicking, if everyone the chemistry is very good, the skill set matches and everything like that, you get some sort of chemical reaction, okay? So this poster is from an anime called Blue Lock. It's one of my favorite animes. Huh? Woo or Boo? Woo, okay. Equals Blue Lock. So in the context of Blue Lock, what do you mean by chemical reaction, okay? So in this anime, the context is that Japan is trying to create the ultimate striker, okay? And in the course of the story, you have all these strikers who are trying to be the best. And when they work with each other, you start to realize that, this guy jumps really high. This guy, can see the battlefield very clearly. This guy passes very well. This guy strikes really hard. You get all these different people. But somehow, some way, when they match with specific teams, different skills suddenly pop off and become even better. And they score like an almost impossible goal, okay? Yeah, this chemical reaction is what gives your game that special sauce. Sometimes when you play a game, right, there's just something about it that just resonates with you, it just clicks. And I can guarantee you it's because the team behind it has this sort of chemical reaction to sort of facilitate these sort of ideas, to make certain things better, to add a little bit more flavor to the game, which makes it better, all right? So principle number 1, work with people, not roles. Number 2, set limits, okay? Set limits. People are, people's commitment is a limited resource, okay? They have different goals, they have different dreams, they have different, needs, and they need different things over time. So sometimes you need to create goals that are very achievable, but they're also very challenging, okay? Because no one can work on a game forever. Trust me. As you work on the game longer and longer, fatigue will start to set in. People will start to look at the same shit every day, and they'll get bored and things like that. So you want to set limits. You want to create goals, okay? Very basic stuff like how big is the game? How long does it take? How much to give? Who is going to work on it? All these limits you want to set on early. And I want you to also think about breaking the conventional rules of like game development, right? Oh, you gotta find a publisher. Oh, you gotta sell 1 billion copies or whatever. No, don't really think about that. Think about what do you need at that moment of time. Okay? Maybe you want to build a very small game to be released as a portfolio, but maybe you're open to donations. Set the limit for that. How long do you want to take? How much do you want to spend? How many people you want to work on? And then once you're done. Close it off. Move on to the next thing. Maybe you want to build a vertical slice for to shop for publishers, and maybe you only want to continue development after that happens. Okay, think about what you want to do. Again, all this is arbitrary, so don't follow what I have to say. But think about what you need for that particular goal, right? Because it's more motivating to complete something and get feedback. You build something, you're kind of spinning your wheels, you're kind of working on it for long. And you keep working and keep working and keep working. I tell you, the spark is going to be gone. Everything's going to be dry, and everyone will be bored. So set goals, set limits, and then once you end, you move on. Okay, that's set limits. Number 3, assign parents. Just this morning when I think of this line, when you say assign parent, I somehow think of programming term assign parent. But that's not the case, okay? Making a game is very subjective. You are making something that is really, really undefined. Okay? I was watching this YouTube video by Tim Kaine, the guy one of the early developers of the original Fallout. And in this particular video, mentioned at the bottom here, he said that in one of his programming classes, a lecturer facilitated a thought experiment on how hard is it to define something. Okay? How hard it is. And this is a thought experiment, okay? I'm going to throw out a definition. I'm going to give you something. You are going to define it, and I'm going to counter that definition. Okay? Now, define a cup. Define a cup. What is a cup? All right? You think about it in your head, and then you think about what you're going to say, right? So in this video, he said, a student mentioned, it's a concave object that can hold liquid. Oh, you mean like a swimming pool? A swimming pool is a cup, is it? No. Okay. It's a concave object that can hold liquid that you can hold. You mean like a bucket? Wait, no, not bucket. Yeah, it's okay. One more time. A concave object that can hold liquid, that you can hold a very small amount. You mean like a plate? A plate is also a concave object that you can hold a very small amount of liquid. You see, when I say cup, you all know what a cup is in your mind straight away. You can visualize it, you know how it looks like. But when I ask you to define it, let's say I've never seen a cup in my life before, and you try to define it to me, look how hard is it to define. People take things for granted. Imagine you're defining a cup. Imagine you're defining a cup, and that's already so tricky, right, to figure out, let alone something in the game. I'll give you another example that we face. In our game called Daily Rehearsal that we're working on, it's like a theater simulator, all right? And one of the things that I keep trying to convey to my team is that, okay, we need this like control panels in this like tech booth, okay? And this control tech booth need to look like, they control lights, they control sound, but at the same time, they need to be a bit more gamey, So there's this game called Killer Frequency. You're in a radio station, you have these giant controls, and it's kind of look like that. So think of like the sound controls, the light controls, but like this game, okay? But we had a lot of issues, like a lot of the artists and the other people in the team could not really like see this, what I'm seeing in my head. They couldn't really figure out. Went to different drawings, went to different prototypes. I was like, no, this one the button's too small. This one the screen is too wide, or like that one is too bright, or there's a lot of back and forth. So I tried creating a lot of documents, okay, to describe as best as I can, like the cup, right? And I tried to overlay it with the in-game prototype. I tried to, come on, guys, like this is how it looks like. No, you're not seeing it. Okay, fine. What can I do? You know what? I'm going to build it myself. I'm going to go to my house and find all the scraps of boxes and everything, and I built this myself. And finally, I can say, this is how it looks like. Look at how tall it is. Look at how big the buttons are. Look at how this is where you stand. This is how far it's going to be like. And then eventually, we got exactly what we want. Okay? Yeah, it's not 100%, but it's very, very close. Okay? And the only way that I could figure out how to get that idea across is to build it like physical, because that's the only way I know how to communicate, right? It's something new, right? Never done before. So, appoint a director. Not hire a director, just pick somebody in your team that you can trust to make decisions, because this kind of tough communication issues, tough definitions, you need a director to sort of like tell the team to sort of like really focus and build exactly what this director is looking for. The second thing, making a game is also objective. It's not just subjective or objective, right? There's manpower, there's budget, and time. So appoint a producer to help keep these limited resources in check, okay? Limited resources like the one I mentioned above, which is the set limits, right? So you want to build those things. Now, it's like having two parents, right? You have one director and you have one producer to sort of keep things in track. The director to help facilitate the subjective things, and you have the producer to facilitate the objective things, okay? This quote is from another talk from Jesse Shell, all right? So, assign parents, okay? You don't have to hire a director or hire a producer, just pick somebody you trust the most and let them do that role. They might be good or might not be good at it, but at least if there's somebody there, something will happen. All right, the last thing, code of conduct. Okay? We are working with human beings. We are working with deadlines. We are working with budgets. We are also working with things that are unknown. When making a game, right, you do not know what you're going to build. And all of this combined together, you're going to have conflicts. Definitely, people are going to disagree. People are going to argue. People are going to have, multiple discussions about like silly things like the color of the hat. What is it going to be? Is it going to be red or is it going to be green? You have a 30-minute meeting and then it goes nowhere. So, best to have a code of conduct to manage these things, okay? I'm not going to tell you everything you need, but I'm just going to sort of create like a framework of understanding between your team. A framework of hey, as long as we are together, let's aim for these few principles. Good to have, best to have in writing, you don't have to, but it really, really helps because I guarantee you, like when problems arise, if you don't have all these things discussed, it's going to be even messier. I'm going to give you 2 layers, okay? The first layer, the foundation of a good relationship, not just game team, just good human relationship. You need trust, you need respect, and you need honesty, all right? I'll give you a sample example, okay? I'm going to give this to you by the end of the week. And then the deadline, sorry, I couldn't finish in time. My bad. Then when the guy says he's going to give you something next week, do you think that's going to happen again? It's very hard to know that that's going to happen, right? I will give this to you by the end of the week. And then, sorry, I can't finish, sorry, not can, I can't finish this in time. Is it okay if I give you next week instead? Okay, maybe the task is a little bit, thrown off a little bit, but hey, at least there's trust, respect, and honesty, right? Now, I'll give you the other part of the conversation. No, you promised me, and this is very important. You do it by hook or by crook, you promised me. I believe you can do it, okay? There's trust, there's honesty, but there's no respect. If you really believe that this other human being is willing to delay, you gotta at least trust that, hey, maybe something happened. Maybe they're having some difficulties, or maybe they're just not having a good day. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? So if you have all these things, conversations become a lot more fluid, right? Like, hey, I know I promised you, it looks very important. I'm going to pull an all-nighter. I promise I'm going to pull an all-nighter. And then the other guy's like, hey, actually, you know what? I don't really need 100%. Maybe 80% is fine. Oh, I can do 80%. So sorry for the promise. So sorry for the promise. Next time I'll try to estimate better. It's okay. I should have mentioned that it's very important earlier. Okay? All good. Everything's good. Everything's chill. And then we move on. Okay? No harm, no foul. Things like a delay, we talk about it. It's fine. It's chill. Everyone have trust, respect, and honesty. It's fine. Okay, I have another layer 2. Layer 2 is aim for excellence. Okay? When you build a game, you are competing with the whole world. You're not competing with just this school. You're not competing with another school. You're not competing for the best game in PJ. You're not competing for the best game in KL. You're not competing with the best game in Malaysia. You're competing with the best game in the world. Assuming you're going to market to the world. Okay? You need to have clarity. You need to have standards. Okay? I think these puzzles icons are not working. Something feels off about it. Maybe try to make it more unique. Maybe just go look at some survival horror games for reference. I mean, there's no clarity and there's no standard. Or like, what's going to happen to a team if they hear somebody say something like this, right? Hey, I think these puzzle icons are not working because it clashes. The shape clashes with the background. I think the silhouettes and shapes of famous gothic horror monsters are very, very recognizable, and it might stand out as better icons. Let's look at Resident Evil 8. I think they do it very well with that medallion puzzle. Okay, have some clarity, have some standards. Keep things information flowing. All right. So code of conduct, right? At the end of the day, it's very vague. It's very it's very subjective. But I'll sum it up to 2 things. Okay. Don't be a jerk and do your best. If you do these 2 things, normally it will be fine. It will work out. Okay. All right. Okay. So these are the 4 principles. You might or might not have all these already. You might not have that at all, or you might only have 50%. I'm not saying you should have all of these things, but the better you can aim for more of this, the stronger your team will become. You make better games, everyone will be happy. So what's the takeaway if I have to give just round everything up? Teams come and go, okay? The team that you work with today might not be there tomorrow because they might want to do something else. They have different dreams, they have different goals. Projects will end. At the end of the day, the game that you're going to work on is going to be shipped, you're going to be done, and you're going to move to the next game. But connections last for a long time, okay? I had teams that I worked with 15 years ago that I still work with today, even on completely different projects, theater in the back in the day, games in the future, And who knows, 15 years in the future, the people that I work with today, what we're going to do next, I do not know. But these connections can last a long time, right? And you want to keep these things, okay? So build connections, build good connections, and you'll get good teams. All right? Thank you very much. That's all for my talk. Okay, if you enjoy what you see here, if you enjoy what you like here, this is my contact. I'm open to giving more talks if you want to invite me. If you like what I'm talking about here today, and you are willing to listen, you can approach me. Scan the link and look it up. I am giving the free game design coaching. Yes, it's free, FOC, with some terms and conditions. To find out more, the link is in below. If you want to know more about this program, let me know. And thank you so much. Thank you, GGW. Thank you, APU. And thank you to Hannah for helping me record. Okay, bye.